Welcome back, guys. Today I want to talk to you about one of my favorite plants for your fish tank, and that is Vallisneria. Vallisneria to me is a great beginner plant. It is really hardy and it really doesn't take a lot of work. It's a pretty minimal plant as far as its needs, and it's easy to go in a lot of different tanks. It goes in, medium, low, highlight. It doesn't really matter a whole lot. If you put it in highlight, it's probably going to grow quicker, but if you put it in low light, it's going to do just fine as well. This plant is really easy to get it to thrive because it will deal with a lot of different parameters of water. And it's actually one of the very first plants that was ever used in the aquarium hobby because it is such an easy one to grow. And back when they first started using plants, they didn't get a lot of light options and they didn't know, there wasn't the science behind it that there is now, and it was something that was working for them early on, but it's still something that works great for us now in the hobby. This is one of my breeding tanks with guppies and bristlenose plecos, and the Vallisneria does a great job for me, just really controlling some of the nitrates in the water. Just these fish produce a lot of waste, but with the Vallisneria, it really does a great job taking that waste right out of my substrate and using it to grow the plants. There are a ton of different types of Vallisneria, but it doesn't matter which type, they all pretty much work the same. And some of them grow extremely tall. Jungle Val will grow up to 6 feet or more, and that's a huge plant. So if you've got an absolutely huge aquarium, Vallisneria might be the best plant for you. But if you have a smaller plant, there are other different types of Vallisneria that stay shorter and that are a little bit smaller. A lot of people like to use Vallisneria as a background plant. But for me, I like to use it in my tank and let it grow throughout, as you saw in, earlier in the video. To me, it's the only plant you actually need in a fish tank, and it's going to make your fish tank look awesome just all by itself. Now, when you have Vallisneria, one of the things that's going to happen in here, and here I actually have two plants. And the reason I have the two is because I want you to be able to see that there is this piece right here between them. When Val is growing, you'll have just this one plant initially, and it'll send off these runners, and these runners will go and they'll start a new plant. And then you'll get another runner from here, and you'll get another plant. And so what I did is I actually just trimmed these two right out of my tank so that you could see how this works. And what you can do is you'll start off with just this one plant, right? And you'll go ahead and you can stick that into your substrate, and it's going to grow into two plants. And it's really easy to propagate because all you have to do is cut these two off, and now you've got two different plants, and this one's going to send out another runner, and this is going to send out another runner, and you're going to keep growing these plants very quickly. When this plant is really going strong, you can get to send out runners every 3 or 4 days even, and it will take up an aquarium rather quickly. If you plant, I'd say maybe like 10 plants, within 6 months, you're going to have an entire aquarium full of them. So I'll show you a picture of what my tank looked like when I first set it up with Vallisneria. And then just a few months later, this is what it looks like. Vallisneria does prefer neutral to hard water. If you have really soft water, the Val may struggle a little bit. But anything in neutral to hard water, that Vallisneria is going to absolutely love and do really well in it. Which is one of the reasons I love to have it in my guppy tank. My guppies love hard water, my Vallisneria loves hard water, and it just makes a great combination because as that population of guppies grows, so does the number of plants I have with my Vallisneria. In fact, Vallisneria does so well in hard water, you can even do a little bit of salt in with your water. This is one of the few plants out there that's really hardy when it comes to salt. And if you're going to do even like a slightly brackish tank, Val can actually handle even slightly brackish water. So, that may be a great option for you for some of those other, freshwater puffers maybe that do like a little bit more of that salinity in their water. Or maybe you're using some salt with your guppies or your mollies or something like that, and the Vallisneria is going to handle that really well. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. You can go ahead and check out my playlist over here about a bunch of other plants that I really enjoy and I think that you guys might find are great additions to your aquariums.